Sometimes, the most exhausting part of work is not the work itself. It's the act of staying strong when you're already running on empty. You wake up every morning, sometimes before the world is fully awake. Your body asks for rest, but responsibility doesn't wait. So you move, not always with passion, not always with excitement, but because life requires you to. And that is okay. Not everyone works because they love what they do. Some work because they have to. Some work for their family. Some work because they haven't found another way yet. If that's you, you're not alone. Every day you give something away. Your time, your energy, your focus, often without applause, often without recognition. Some days feel manageable, some days feel unbearably heavy, and on certain days, a quiet question appears in your mind. Is this really my life? That question doesn't make you weak, it makes you human. Fatigue is real, and not all tiredness is cured by sleep. There is a tiredness that lives in your mind, a tiredness that settles in your chest, a tiredness you don't know how to explain because you don't even fully understand it yourself. So you keep going. You smile when needed, you show up, you perform your role. That takes strength, even if no one sees it. The world celebrates those who shine. It rarely acknowledges those who endure. Yet endurance, especially when quitting feels easier, is one of the quietest forms of courage. If today you are still here, still trying, still showing up, even without motivation, that is enough. Pause for a moment. Breathe slowly. You were not created to function endlessly. You are not a machine. You are not a number. You are not just a role. You are a human being doing the best you can with what you have, and that matters. Not every process feels meaningful. Not every path feels clear. Sometimes you walk without knowing when or if you'll arrive, but every small step is still a step. No effort is truly wasted. Maybe the reward hasn't arrived yet. Maybe the path is longer than expected. Maybe you are being shaped, not celebrated. If today feels heavy, it doesn't mean you chose the wrong path. Often, the hardest roads build the deepest strength. You're allowed to feel tired. You're allowed to feel drained. You're allowed to feel like giving up. But you don't have to give up today. Sometimes surviving one more day changes more than you realize. You are not late. You are not behind. You are not a failure just because your life looks different from what you once imagined. Life is not a race. You don't owe anyone proof. The most important thing is that you don't abandon yourself. If today you work while exhausted, do it gently, not because the world demands it, but because you are quietly building your own way forward. Slowly, one breath, one step, and one day when you look back, you will realize that these difficult seasons were not punishments. They were evidence that you were strong enough to keep moving, even when everything inside you felt close to breaking. You don't need to be loud to be powerful. You don't need constant motivation to make progress. Sometimes progress looks like simply not quitting, like resting instead of collapsing, like choosing patience over panic. Even now, when you feel unnoticed, your effort is shaping you. Even now, when results feel distant, your consistency matters. Even now, when you doubt yourself, you are still becoming. Let the tiredness remind you that you are trying. Let the struggle remind you that you care. And let this moment remind you that quiet strength is still strength. There will be moments when you feel invisible, moments when your effort seems to disappear the second it leaves your hands. You do what needs to be done, yet nothing changes immediately. No breakthrough, no applause, no clear sign that you're moving forward. And in those moments, the mind begins to question everything. Am I wasting my time? Is this effort even worth it? Will things ever get better? These questions are not enemies. They are signals.
They appear when you've been strong for too long without rest. Understand this: feeling tired of working does not mean you hate your life. It means you are human, living inside a demanding world, a world that keeps asking for more without always giving space to breathe. Sometimes what you really need is not motivation, not advice, not pressure, not another reminder to work harder. What you need is permission to slow down without guilt, to pause without feeling like you're falling behind. You are allowed to rest without earning it. You're allowed to take a breath without justifying it. Rest is not weakness. Rest is maintenance. Even the strongest structures collapse when never reinforced. There is a quiet dignity in continuing even when the fire is low. Not every season is meant for intensity. Some seasons are meant for endurance, to show up gently, to do what you can and no more. Look at how far you've already come, not in achievements, not in titles, but in survival. There were moments you thought you wouldn't make it through, days that felt endless, nights where the weight followed you into sleep, and yet you are still here. That matters more than you think. You don't need to have everything figured out. Most people don't. They're just better at hiding it. Progress is rarely loud. Most of the time, it happens quietly, inside decisions no one else sees. Choosing to try again, choosing not to quit today, choosing to believe just a little longer. There is growth happening even when it feels like nothing is moving. Roots grow in darkness. Foundations are built underground, and no one applauds foundations, but without them, nothing stands. If your work feels repetitive, meaningless, or draining, it doesn't define your worth. Your job is something you do. It is not who you are. You are more than your productivity, more than your income, more than your output. You are a life in progress, and becoming takes time. It takes patience. It takes forgiveness, especially towards yourself. It takes learning when to push and when to be gentle. Some days, success looks like ambition. Other days, success looks like simply getting through the day without breaking. Both count. If you feel behind, remember this: you're moving at the speed your life requires right now. Not too slow, not too fast, just honest. One day, this season will end. Not suddenly, not dramatically, but quietly. And you'll realize that the strength you built here was never about the work. It was about who you became while doing it. Until then, let your pace be enough. Let your effort be imperfect. Let your journey be yours. Stay with yourself, even when it's uncomfortable, even when it's unclear, because momentum doesn't always come from force. Sometimes it comes from compassion. You don't need to rush your healing. You don't need to hurry your purpose. Keep showing up, not aggressively, not desperately, but sincerely. You are not broken. You are tired, and tiredness can be met with kindness. Breathe again, slowly. You're still moving forward, even now.